Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the exciting and heart-pounding adventure Goku Youth and how good he is at 55% in the hidden potential system in DBZ Dokkan Battle. Now he is a DB Saga or Earth-bred fighters category elite of 170% with an extra 50% for characters who belong to the Youth or Dragon Ball Seekers categories. On his super attack effects, he raises attack and defense, and also causes immense damage to the enemy, whilst he seals super attacks. On his unit super, where there is a Bulma attacking in the same turn, he will also raise his attack and defense. However, here he will stun the enemy. So, all in all, I would say right off the bat, Goku looks pretty solid. If you break down his passive, he launches an additional super attack and has 40% additional damage reduction for the first 7 turns. Goku's baseline passive gives him 20% damage reduction, so that gives him in total a 60% damage reduction for 7 turns from the start of turn. It's not a huge amount, especially when you factor in that he doesn't have guard, but he can get guard fairly easily through the rest of his passive. Plus he also has built in an additional super from his entrance animation, and also a additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. When you consider that Goku on top of that can have his hidden potential system proc as well, that means that Goku can in theory hit 4 super attacks in his very first turn, and also hit 4 super attacks in his very next turn, which means by the end of turn 2 you can have Goku fully built up and with guards all attacks, as well as launching additional supers. On top of that as well, Goku will have a 55% chance of performing a critical hit within the turn. He has attack of 100% up on his super and 22% chance of evading an enemy's attack within the turn when attacking with 12 or more ki. When receiving an attack, he has defense of 200%, and for every super attack performed, he will get 50% attack and 50% attack up to a total of 200%. Now overall, you might go, you know what, that's pretty good, but ultimately what does it mean for me? Well, the thing is, Goku's passive can proc separately. So what that means is Goku's evasion can actually proc multiple times off of those attacks that occur when he's above 12 ki. This means that Goku can in theory actually have a pretty good effective 22% evasion rate, because that 22% can be procced multiple times. So that means that in theory, Goku could, for example, have, let's say, like 3 or 4 instances of 22% evasion, which is pretty good. When you factor in Goku's active skill, which is a 30% attack boost similar to Kid Buu, and 30% reduction, gain of health, I think overall you see that Goku actually looks really solid. I think he's pretty good. He builds up really quickly. He can get to really high levels of damage. We're talking 30 million, 26 million within the space of let's say 3 turns. He has a pretty decent crit rate built in, and his hidden potential build is actually incredibly simple, being full evasion, and then any leftover that you can't stick in evasion you can stick, in additional, you can stick in evasion. So a full additional build with just a tiny little bit of evasion is basically the optimal build for Goku, which is actually something that's incredibly cool, and I think makes him incredibly easy to receive. His link set, The Innocents, All in the Family, Sand Lineage, Infighter, Incredible Adventure, Guidance to the Dragon Balls, and Fierce Battle is okay. He needs to have really, I would say, probably a little bit better a link set, if I'm being entirely honest with you. I think his link set is obviously more DB coded. What that does is it does lock him a little bit behind DB units, but I think the biggest hindrance Goku has is that right now, for the lengths of certain content, Goku needs a first slot tank. Goku's defense is pretty solid. Goku gets 200% defense when receiving an attack, and he can have guard, and he can build up his defense fairly quickly to like the 600-700k mark. When you couple that with 20% damage reduction, he's not bad defensively at all. The issue that Goku has, ultimately, which I think is his big issue, is that he essentially, for shorter events, can't build up that defense immediately. So if you're taking him into like a formidable foes or something like that, Goku can still do well, but he has to have a first slot tank. And this isn't, an absolute mandatory thing, but it is pretty necessary for Goku to function at whatever level you want him to. So I think at that point there, he has a hindrance, because his team, how everything works, I think right now, especially on the teams that he's kind of limited to, if you want to maximize his link set, he does struggle a little bit, because he doesn't have that full range of like first slot tanking options. If they had Easy Aid, for example, the Tech Goku, the Tech World Tournament Goku, and made him a tank or something, then I would understand. But they didn't. They easying the physical Kid Goku, and I think that's okay, but I think kind of a little bit of a hindrance for this Goku overall. On top of that as well, what they did, which was a bit of a shame, is they haven't really given him any utility. He has his heal off of his active, which is always good. It's definitely not something bad or anything like that, but he definitely struggles to provide utility to a team that's pretty heavy on utility. If you look at the DB Saga team, a lot of its units all support each other. That's kind of how they get their strength, at least right now. And even with the Easy A to Goku, I think they could have given this guy like a 2-turn temp raise, or maybe a single turn defensive raise for the rest of the rotation, or just something to kind of give a good footing for the team. But overall, I think he's really, really good. I think he's an incredibly solid unit, and I think he is a great little TUR. Hope they give his team the right buffs needed to cater to him, but I think at this point in time, he's really good.